What is going on, everybody? It is Saturday. Saturday, that means we talk to unique individuals, friends of the ecosystem. We got Unstoppable Wallet with us today. Forgive the background. That's the trash truck. What am I supposed to do about that? They're just doing their job. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. This has been a really interesting week. Let's get this introduction out of the way. So you guys, for all who don't know, THORChain is the world's leading Bitcoin DEX. You can swap 13 different blockchains across 41 different pools without using bridges or wrap tokens. Check it out at swap.thorchain.org, swap.thorchain.org. Anyone in the world can use THORChain. There's no account to open, no KYC required, and privacy is a human right. THORChain has two tokens, RUNE and TCY. The fees for swapping on THORChain are paid in RUNE, and that's where the yield comes from. The fees are deducted from swaps, so you don't need to own RUNE to trade on THORChain. The RUNE token is currently deflationary as 5% of the revenue is burned. 10% of the protocol revenue goes to TCY token holders. Remember to stake your TCY tokens in order to collect this yield. There are no block rewards on THORChain. The protocol's revenue is real money paid by real users. THORChain is more than just a DEX, you guys. It is a programmable layer 1 with the ability to create decentralized apps on it. This app layer is being developed by Rayyyk. If you need help with THORChain in general, join the THORChain community Discord and the Telegram group. Links for those are on THORChain.org. Guys, please follow. Having a little list here. Please follow THORChain on Facebook and Instagram. THORChain contact on we need 1,000 followers to live stream on those platforms. And always remember, guys, this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute financial, investment, or legal advice. And with that out of the way, you guys, how's everyone doing? How's everyone doing?
Good. I muted Ibeck so that he
Doing
could
well,
get
thanks.
started. Yeah.
A very seductive pouring sound you were making over there, brother, getting me really excited for morning coffee. You know what I mean? Really slow. Great.
I was wondering, I'm like, does this guy go to the bathroom as he's logging into to the video?
Well, Kenton, I'll go ahead and kick it to you if you've got any marketing update for us, and then we'll get this party right on the road here.
Yeah, not much. I guess some of you might have saw I posted a screenshot of that scam website, the swap.throchain.org. I got that. Looks like I got it shut down. And it's thanks to Ibeck. When Ibeck and I were going over STO, I think you actually just typed it in wrong, Ibeck, or somehow it came up on your screen, and you're like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, I wasn't aware about it at all. You know, I just tried to access the real website, and I ended up there. Only when I tried to connect the wallet, I saw, okay, something is not right here. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. So we so Ibeck, we helped me. We figured out the registrar, and then they have like an abuse email. So I emailed them. They replied actually right away with a list of like, I don't say demands, but like, we need to know this, this, and that, right? And so I basically just copied and pasted that in the Claude. Hey, I need help. Give me all this stuff. And Claude walked me through it. And then Claude is also like, well, you should reach out to these other places, to like Cloudflare and whatnot. And I had to look up the Whois record for the registrar, which also told me the web host and this and that. And then Claude's like, oh, you should contact the web host, and this is their contact info. So I just went down the rabbit hole and found out Google has a form for like Chrome where you can submit like a phishing website. There's some chain abuse website for like malicious like crypto websites. So I think there's about 5 different places I could submit that this site is a scam. And so I did it all. And the Claude was a great help. Because I mean, if I had to do this on my own, like I don't even know where to start, or let alone like I had to dig up IP addresses, all kinds of stuff, right? And so it was just like Claude just made it so easy. And kudos to whatever the platform's taking it seriously. So I, sometimes you think it's probably fair, right? You can't just, how do they know I'm not the scammer? Like I'm not trying to shut down a legitimate website, right? Like they need to have some proof, right? So, so it's fair to them to have their own due process, and it worked. So I hit it from all the angles: registrar, the web host, the DNS provider. I think I'm saying it right. All the different ways that this site can function. I went to all those different platforms. So yeah. So if guys in the community, if you ever see any sites like this, please let me know. At minimum, let the community know to be aware of it, so we can help try and prevent people. But then also to let me know, then I can go through the channels and try and get it shut down. And it's as simple as using the @THORChain.org email address, right? Like if it comes from some random email, they don't probably take it less seriously. So if we can use a THORChain.org email, then they start taking it seriously. So yeah, that was that. I don't really got anything else to talk to you guys about. We can talk about STO. I say let's do that at the later half of this podcast. I want to give IBIC some time to talk about Unstoppable Wallet, all the great things they're doing there. So just if you guys don't know, IBIC is with Unstoppable Wallet, and him and his team are the guys behind the swap.thorchain.org site, and been working with them since August now to get that site going. And so IBIC and I meet once a week to go over things. We chat throughout the week as well. So him and his team are behind the swap interface. But before we maybe talk about that, I want to give IBIC a chance to promote Unstoppable Wallet. Tell us all about the great things happening there and what's going on there. So yeah, maybe let you pick it up from there. IBIC, I don't know if there's anything you want to fill in, any color you want to add about yourself or Unstoppable. Feel free.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. I think it's been like 6 months maybe since we talked last. So a lot has happened since then, both on the STO domain as well as on the Unstoppable side. When it comes to STO, I think everyone is in the loop of of everything that's pretty much going on there. So we try to post it weekly on our end. You guys post it as well. So yeah, people are aware. One thing to note, I think in a fairly short amount of time, we ended up, I cannot be really objective here, but subjectively speaking, we ended up creating the easiest to use swap interface, like UI wise. There is not a lot of noise there, and yet it has everything that's necessary really like for an advanced user. That's one. Secondly, it's not really that can be compared to anything else because it comes with the zero fees. All right. Yeah, so all of that I think makes it really superior when it comes to cross-chain swaps, when it comes to decentralization and permissionless swaps. So I think we are doing fairly well in that regard. And the volumes show as well. So that's regarding the STO. Kenton is a pleasure to work with. The fact that I have to work with you, Kenton, is actually a major point where I like working in that on that task, because you are a demanding person, and for a good engineer, having a demanding person to work with is always pushes you to do a good work. Yeah, not just like what we call to create a shit code, but to actually do a good work. Yeah, and I like doing that. So that is the when it comes to
I appreciate it as well, and like you guys do a great job. Like it's so easy to say, oh, we'll make something cool or make it easy to use, and it's like, well, how do you actually do it, right? And like, you guys will come up with stuff and do something, and I'll be like, well, maybe we should do it this way, do it that way, and like, but I think, but you agree, right? It's self-evident. You're like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. We should do it like that, right? And then vice versa. I come to you guys with stuff, and that's why I like working with you too, because you're like, Kenton, no, that doesn't make sense. it's not going to work.
Yeah,
So
and
it's good.
that's what I like as well. It's back and forth, and I do realize that ultimately it's someone has to make a final call, but I would like to pass you as much feedback as I can when I feel that that feedback is relevant. So
yeah, it's good.
Well, everything I think is good on the STO side. So you have great plans for it, and we're happy to execute it. When it comes to Unstoppable, we evolved quite a lot. So our focus over the last 6 months was on Monero and Zcash. I mean, we have been always like trying to differentiate ourselves as a privacy-focused wallet with a focus on best practices, so on engineering best practices. So we are not the fast building wallet, especially like on a mobile site. It takes like, well, if you are used to like, let's say, building with React, a web, let's say, technology, it's used on mobile as well. But we work with iOS and Android, which is a Swift and Kotlin, and they are like fairly slower, like harder to build on. So we are rather slower builders, but we always try to get things done in a way that we would not have to return to them for years to come. Well, it's not always possible to do that, but that's our approach. So that's the same approach we took for privacy. But it just happened that there were a few gaps in our product. And one of that was that Monero was missing. And second, there were no decentralized swaps for the Monero specifically. And hopefully the THORChain is going to close that in the near future, and for Zcash. So over the last 6 months, what we were trying to do is mainly close those gaps to make sure that we are number one wallet we try to do. We are currently not the number one wallet in the Monero ecosystem, but we believe we are somewhere in the top 3. And the reason is that we don't know how many users each wallet has, right? But based on the people like you interact with, we get the impression that we are somewhere like either on the second or third spot. We believe to be like on the second spot. So Monero users are very important for us because they are uncompromised, and in a sense that you may not always get like an actionable feedback from them. But in general, if you can serve that user base, it means that you can go like deep enough when it comes to decentralization or other like requests for privacy. So last 6 months, we spent a lot of time on adopting everything Monero has into the wallet. We did that. So now like Monero is really fully supported. Same for Zcash. Zcash actually been in, well, I don't say we're like the first Zcash wallet, multi-coin wallet that supported Zcash, but I'm pretty sure we are, I just don't know for sure right now because like there were many wallets throughout the years. Right now we are not the main one. There are like Zcash focused ones, which seem to have like backing from the influencers on, at least that's what we see on Twitter. But when it comes to the actual tech, I don't think that there is any wallet out there when it comes to Monero or Zcash or even Bitcoin, really, that has gone deeper technically as well as UX and UI wise than we did. We are not good at marketing, but we are definitely good at building stuff. And we just started monetizing product maybe like 1.5 years ago, maybe a year ago. So, and the good thing is, we are self-sustainable. So we are not really dependent on anyone. So just like on our motivation. So, and so Monero and Zcash covered, we keep improving. And the main focus last 3 months and that we are focused on right now as well. And that's actually working on the THORChain pushed us in that domain, other swaps. So THORChain delivers the web-based swaps. But for the wallet, we needed like to build within the wallet the swaps as well. So it includes THORChain, but at the same time includes pretty much anything that has decent amount of coverage for the token. So like THORChain covers the main essentials, I would say, the main assets. But at the same time, right now it kind of lacks a number of assets which you can't be aware about, and hopefully we can get them all there at some point. So that's one. Secondly, when people swap with the THORChain, well, we recommend everyone to swap with the THORChain, but the fact is sometimes they can't because the asset is not there, and they have to use, well, like the case for Monero now, and then they have to use some other swap source. And the reality was that none of the swap providers, well, swap interfaces, let me say, like wallets, right now they're like closed boxes. Some of them are open source, but even if the wallet is open source and you integrate some kind of library for the swap, you don't really know you can see what's in that library, but you don't know what's going on on the server side of that service that powers that library, right? So, and it happens that for swaps, especially when you are like after privacy, but the swap itself is not being done by the centralized provider, you have risks. You have privacy risks. Essentially, a provider. I'll tell you what kind of risk a bit later on, but there are many risks, and so people are unaware of those swap risks, and at the same time they are unaware of the freeze risks. You know, and this is not relevant to the THORChain because none of those risks are there, right? But it just it's unfortunate but many people are using their favorite wallets right now and are unaware that their swaps can get frozen, that their data is being shared with a third party. I mean, not maybe shared deliberately, but a third party has enough means to collect that data, like what is that IP address, where that swap request originates from, what's his device, iOS, Android, and so on. Well, like meta markers, stuff. And this is important because right now you have a lot of regions which are in conflict. And I mean, for example, like I'm not sure how often this happened, but I know that stuff like that can happen and probably happened based on the feedback we received from some people. So it may happen that, let's say, a country A has some beef with the country B, or a region A has a beef with region B, and that region A has a lot of, well, a crypto-friendly region maybe, and have like a lot of swap providers hosted there, like legally hosted, not necessarily physically. So, and they don't seem to like people from region B. So what happens is that you receive a swap request from a region B, and if you know that this person's IP address is from that place, you simply freeze it because you know that this person from region B cannot really appeal. I mean, well, in some cases they cannot appeal. In many cases, because it can come from sanction place, So a lot of such things are going on in the swap ecosystem, and swaps becoming important because exchanges are getting more and more aggressive at blocking and profiling, KYCing people. And we want to fill that gap and provide people an interface where they can swap with confidence that they're able to see the risks at advance. For someone who has no problems with KYC, let's say, proving the origin of his funds, well, you just go with the best rate, But if someone like sold something for cash and ended up getting USDTs, and now he wants to convert them from, let's say, THORChain into ETH or something else, well, it's not easy. It's close to impossible to actually like prove your source. So these people would kind of would, I think, prefer to know in advance what is that source they will be swapping through, and maybe getting like a 10 basis points favorable rate is not that important for them. Yeah, so that was our focus, and that's what we are trying to kind of finalize right now. Maybe, yeah, another month or so. And at the same time, we are building another product right now, which is a
Before we keep going, maybe
yeah.
I want to stop you, Ibex, because I have a bunch of questions. Maybe before you keep going, so like, let's talk about your aggregator. So like, this is great, by the way, because like, it drives me nuts. One of my biggest pet peeves with these wallets, all wallets, even the big ones, is they provide these trading routes to centralized exchanges that eventually freeze people's funds and demand KYC. And it's like, it's really unfair to the user because they think they're using something permissionless, right? They think they're off of a centralized exchange or in their wallet. They have self custody. They're dealing with their real DEX, and they're not. And like, like the events of this week proved that THORChain is the only real DEX, or at least of size, right? We know there's Maya protocol, but one of size with liquidity. So like, it's really frustrating because it's like these wallets are just gonna like actually make it harder for people to get off sexes because they're gonna stop trusting wallets. They're not gonna. Everyone's gonna just stop trading inside their wallet after all these horror stories. And so wallets are just like being really short-sighted in what they're doing. And so I commend Unstoppable Wallet for you guys trying to protect your users and give them full disclosure. This is, you can still, there's nothing wrong with using a centralized exchange. If you want to do that or use these quasi DEX in the front, DEX in the back type stuff, that's fine. But you should know about it. You should understand going in first, right? And you guys are doing that, and that's awesome. And maybe to remind people too, the aggregator that you're using in Unstoppable Wallet is the same aggregator on STO, or the same architecture, right? It's the same basically code. It's just all those features are turned off on STO, and you have them turned on for Unstoppable Wallet. Am I correct to say that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone felt like mic is super successful, so I was trying to figure that out. Yeah, it is. So the moment you guys to turn it on, it will be there. So, but it's your code really. So
yeah. So just to remind people, we had maybe just remind people in general. So part of the reason for STO kind of having a slow start in those first few months is Ibeck and his team were building out the aggregator, and that was like kind of like the base. We had to get that done so everything can be built on top of it. We got the aggregator going. We were routing trades through Near, and we were gonna do chain flip, but prioritize THORChain first. Instead of looking for the best price, it was all trades through THORChain. What THORChain can't do, we go somewhere else. Well, it's THORChain, then Maya, then wherever else. And there's pushback to not do that. Basically trying to play nice in the sandbox with their other aggregators that have THORChain, and not to try and steal their business, which is fine, it's fair. Actually, I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that. The goal of the aggregator was never to go around and try and undercut our existing partners' business. It was to try and get new business. That we want to get new wallets, new integrations, and just being intellectually honest, we understand THORChain doesn't offer all the routes, and some wallets want all the routes. So it's kind of like if 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. Like if we can at least go into these new integrations, still prioritize THORChain, and then whatever leftover go to other places, we still win. We come out ahead. And this exists in meat space. This is how like a lot of businesses, a lot of distribution businesses work, where a supplier distributor, a producer who owns their own distribution will distribute their competitors' products alongside their own because they want to control the distribution channels. And so, so that's the way I was viewing it. So it's a big debate inside the THORChain community. Should we have the full functionality of our aggregator? Blah, blah, blah. For now, it's been decided to keep it off. Unstoppable has continued to build it out and develop it for themselves, for their wallet. But IBIC has always told me is, hey, if you guys want to use this on STO or whatever, for your own THORChain API, we can. So for now, we're not. But just to let you guys know, it is whatever you see on Unstoppable Wallet on their aggregator is technically what we could do as well on THORChain. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I don't have. Yeah, I think it's going well now. If we keep this momentum up with adding new chains to THORChain, we have less and less need to provide alternative routes. So it was always a means to the end, a means to an end anyway, right? To just have something to offer until THORChain supports these routes. So in a year's time, we may not need a full aggregator anyway. THORChain might have enough tokens. It's good enough to offer by itself to these wallets. So I just want to fill people in on the background there and how everything works.
Point. And I think that, to be honest, the only reason we actually started with the aggregator, continued with the aggregator after you guys decided to turn it off, because we needed Monero. And Zcash kind of was solved by the Maya, but Monero was missing. So, yeah, we had to kind of get it going. But if THORChain covers all of that, there becomes really no need to use an aggregator, really. There are some edge cases, like let's say when you want to swap a big amount of stables, like let's say USDT on Rayyyk network to USDT on ERC, and you don't want to pay, let's say, the slippage or fees, and maybe use some kind of bridge which comes with the zero fees. But these are edge cases, and I think they are not really common.
Well, I bet that's something Chad's been talking about, dropping the setting the fees individually per pool, so that the stablecoin pools, for example, we could drop them to 1 basis point or even 0 type thing to be competitive with the rest of the market, rest of the sector.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to try and keep it us up a little bit and pitch THORChain quickly. Is that this was for me is exciting talking to Chad. Especially the last couple of months, we've been chatting more, and his mind is firing off cylinders. Well, we can do this, we can do that, and let's compete. We want to get back to being, one of the top dog dexes and start competing again to become the biggest. So yeah, it's good. It's exciting. I'm looking forward to all these changes Chad's going to do. Well, maybe Denny, did you have any questions? Did you want to jump in?
No, I think this has been a really interesting conversation. Keep going. I know you two have a good working relationship, so if I think of something, I'll butt in. But go ahead.
IBIC, you mentioned earlier before about supporting Monero. Is that a recent addition to Unstoppable Wallet? When did you guys start supporting it?
Well, it's less than a year. So they're all the basic support went live maybe around the same, maybe a bit earlier, a month or two before we started on the STO work. But after that, we tried to kind of bring it up to par with the other wallets, because it's one thing just where you can let people just send and receive Monero, but then you had to actually make it, I would say, usable, because privacy coins are kind of slow to sync when compared to other coins. So you have to open the wallet and wait for maybe sometimes up to maybe a half a minute for it kind of to sync with the blockchain, if you haven't been opening a wallet for, let's say, a week or so, which is quite common. So there are a lot of such type of challenge, which took us a while, but overall, yeah, we're happy. And we are seeing people forking our Monero implementation. Well, it's a privilege to have people fork you, and because then the contribution goes both ways. You know, you can see what that guy improved, and kind of get it into your stack as well. So which happens now, and so that was a good thing.
Imitation's the highest form of flattery. You know it's working if people want to use it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we've seen it on the STO side as well, right? We have seen it, which is a good thing. Yeah, win-win for everyone. So it just means that we have to keep going at the same pace and not like people to not make it easy for them to catch up. So yeah, Monero was a fairly recent thing. We kept postponing it because we knew it would be hard. So that's really the main reason. And we kind of were first a bit discouraged that why would we add Monero when there are like 3 wallets which are already there? So we would come and be just another wallet. But when so a year ago or so, we kind of thought that okay, I mean, the realization came that Bitcoin will never become private, right? There were like, and there was a hope all those years that they'll go one way or another towards like improving some privacy. But yeah, I don't think it will ever happen now. So, and that's why we kind of prioritize that. So, first integration, then swap, and both are kind of done right now. Swap is work in progress still. And now we are improving the swap engine. We have a plan to dethrone the swap kit, and I'm pretty sure we will get there, just a matter of time. But I can't say exactly what we are going to do because some of those I don't want to give them tips. But right now we are in full speed mode towards getting there. So, and after we do that, we will work on. I mean, the focus still remains privacy, and that. I mean, yeah, that's the main focus right now.
Cool. So if you only had Monero for say about a year now, and you're already one of the top privacy wallets, I mean that's pretty good growth. Or is there only, when you say top 2 or 3, are there only 2 or 3 privacy wallets?
There may be, yeah. There are not that many. I mean, really, there are not that many. I mean, let's say there is Cake, there is us, there is Edge, there is. I mean, I'll tell you the wallets I like. So there is Monero 1, which is a fork of Unstoppable. And these are the ones I would trust. I mean, if I am to kind of to play around with Monero and test it, I would trust those. There are desktop ones. I don't have much experience with them, so can't really comment on them. But yeah, official ones, which are like raw, you wouldn't really recommend it to people. But yeah, it's not
So
like a Bitcoin space, where you have like maybe 50 wallets.
So how many tokens do you guys support on the Stoppable wallet? Or how many blockchains?
I think about 15, 20, maybe 15, 20. The main problem with supporting the blockchains is not to actually to add it, but to, like when we added Monero, we added about like 15 megabytes to the app size, and then when you add Zcash, you're more or less seeing the same like result. So it's like always a trade-off, like because no one wants to download an app which is a gigabyte, has a size of like a GTA game, or something like that. So yeah, that's the main issue, not the integration. For the most part, sometimes blockchains have their own specifics, and yeah, current work in progress is to bring in TCY native support. That's what I to.
So to add THORChain, to add RUNE, TCY, Rayyyk, secured assets. When you get THORChain, you'll support all THORChain based tokens.
Well, right now we have a lot of RUNE because we believe in the RUNE, and whatever we earn from RUNE, we never swap it. We keep it. It's essentially we have just 4 assets that we believe in, and RUNE is one of them. So and I don't like keeping our stuff in the wallets made by other people. So that's the main motivation right now. I know that THORChain community has their wallets they use, so that's not really like a pressing priority. So the current priority for us is to make sure that we just store our assets in the wallet we make. So, of
course, no, that's great. So yeah, you got to get THORChain.
yeah.
Well, maybe you can tell us, like, is it? I mean, you're obviously working within the THORChain community. You're also obviously contributing. You own it. You're bullish, but it's obviously not as simple as just spending a couple of days to get THORChain supported on the wallet. Like it does take some work, right? Can you give us an idea? How much work is it? And Ibek, I think you get a bunch of background noise there. I don't know if it's
okay. So, yeah, let me just close the door. Maybe it's noise from there because some people are working there. So,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's a good question because a lot of people complain, Kenton, and it was like, well, why don't they just add RUNE? Well, just add it. And I don't think it's very trivial to do that, right? And so I'm excited for them to answer that question just to give some proper context on this because I hear that all the time, and they're already, yeah.
I mean, if anyone is motivated and wants to do it, is Ibek. He just said it himself. So yeah, Ibek, I'm curious how difficult or how much work is it for a wallet to support, not to integrate THORChain to swap, but integrate THORChain to hold the RUNE token? How much work is that? How hard
swap
is that?
is easier. Integrating swap is easier, but obviously, if you provide an option to swap, you want people to receive, like, let's say, RUNE on that same wallet, right? So that it is a bit harder, but it's a lot of it depends on the wallet architecture. If it's like a wallet which, again, a JS-based wallet, JavaScript-based wallet, most likely it has ready libraries it can use, and but then we are talking about a week or 2, maybe at most. On the other hand, if it's a native wallet like Unstoppable, the libraries are not there. I can't say for sure there are libraries, but you cannot like take one library for yours and something completely different. Also a library, but made by people who are really unrelated to the iOS library, because it's like the 2 things that should be doing the same thing, working in the same manner, but they're built by entirely different teams. And I mean, basically, we try to keep it something we can control and understand, and that in many cases requires you to build the library. So I mean, for the storage, we try to do that whenever it's possible, at least.
Is it possible once you build the library for THORChain for your Unstoppable wallet, can that be open source? Can that be public, that we can share that library with other wallets?
Yes, everything we build is actually open source. And I mean, when we first started, we built a Bitcoin library ourselves because the one that was out there was used by everyone for everything. Basically, if you are building a website with the Bitcoin, you use that. If you are building an app, you use that. If you're building some kind of server site like service that needs a Bitcoin, you use that as well. So it was the really bloated library with a lot of things. So we kind of built it our own, and it's over the years. Right now, it has over thousands of stars. So a lot of people are using it. A lot of projects are using it.
So the THORChain community, we could go to other wallets and say, hey, listen, we want you guys to support the RUNE token. Here's a library from Unstoppable. Can you use it? And they could basically just copy it and use it and get it onto their wallet pretty quickly.
Well, it would be quicker than trying to do it yourself, but really, sometimes, I mean, it really depends on the wallet and the team. I mean, it's a library. It makes things simpler, but it doesn't mean that there is no really effort on the part. But yeah, typically that what you expect.
It would help them.
Yeah,
it would be a head
definitely.
start.
It would be a best case scenario for them to have a library which does everything. So, and then they just do the things they understand, like building a UI.
Well, is there, Denny, do you know, is there a library for RUNE, for THORChain, for wallets that's open source? There's got to be somewhere.
I would, yeah.
Like,
My understanding is, yeah, for sure. I'll dig into that and just get an exact answer. I
well,
mean, this has never been my job, you know, to
yeah,
integrators, but yeah,
I
there
don't.
should be.
Dude, I'm not. Yeah, hopefully I didn't take that the wrong way.
No,
I don't
no, yeah,
expect you to know.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're good. No, you're good.
Yeah. Well, but well, IBEC, have you guys looked into it? Like, imagine like Keystore or I don't know, Control. Well, actually, Control I think is closed source. Trying to think, who is Trust Wallet open source?
Well, they
And
do
like,
publish sometimes the source code, but it's been a while since I checked them, so I can't say if they are publishing
okay.
right now.
But I mean, you guys are kind of you're kind of the type to build it from scratch anyway, because you want to do it right, do it your way, do it properly. Is that the idea?
Yeah, yeah. In many cases, not always, really, but it's you make a decision on a case by case. You know, like for example, if you see that the project has a decent developer community and that they're like keep maintaining one specific library, so you have a decent amount of confidence in it. You know. On the other hand, if like there is not much of development going on within the project, just like a couple of libraries that not a lot of people are looking into, well, it's kind of hard to trust those. You take a lot of risks as a result. So
Well,
when it comes to
I'm glad you brought this up.
yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm glad you brought this up, Kenton, because as Chad said on Thursday, is that he's really interested in making these integration as simple as possible. So if there is something missing on our library side, I think this would just be, you know, very helpful. Now, maybe some teams will you know, vote to build it themselves, but you know, the best thing we could do is at least get something as top notch as possible that we can just give to someone so they can get right to work, right? So, yeah. Go ahead, Ibeck. I cut you off.
I think when it comes to THORChain, it's covered pretty well, at least on the web stack. You have a lot of wallets supporting. Maybe I mean, what we can do if you are keen on that, maybe we can release a library for mobile integrations, you know, so that it's easier for the wallets which are like built on top of, well, for example, I'll give you an example. Right now, let's say take a Monero-only wallet, like Monero One, for example. So they're built on Android, right? And if they are to add a library, they would prefer an Android native one. So, and yeah, we can have us like a swap library for that.
Are you talking about like a swap, a mobile swapping app, like we talked offline about IBEC? Or are you talking about supporting the RUNE token?
Swap support in within the wallet. So that's what I'm doing. I mean, for example,
within the third-party wallet, within someone else's wallet.
If you take, for example, Cake and Unstoppable, most likely they would require different libraries. Although on the surface, these two apps seem like similar, right? One is multi-coin wallet, another is multi-coin wallet. So, but because they're built on different tech stack, they would require like an iOS or Android library. They would require probably Dart, I think they use. I don't know, I remember, but yeah, they would require like a different library. So same type of product integrates THORChain swap, but requires different libraries.
Okay. Maybe this is a good segue into something we were talking about in our last meeting, IBEC. So IBEC has an idea for how we can create a mobile app for THORChain. And we could do something on Android. Is it APK or SDK file? Where APK, and basically people can share it peer to peer. You don't even need the app store, and any Android phone can run it. And so it'd be kind of like, like having a downloadable desktop app on your computer where you can just, you own it. It's your app, your program. You do what you want. We could do that on Android, and a swap interface for THORChain. And to keep it simple, you just do memoless. And yeah, maybe
I would
so
100% use it. I would
I'll,
100% use that.
I'll let Ibek run with it. It's your idea, Ibek. Did I explain it properly? Do you want to add any more color to it?
No, you did it pretty well. I think there was some kind of feedback, I would say, on Twitter, or I saw it. Yeah, I might have even forwarded that to you, that where people were discussing different ways to decentralize the website, right? Like how you can actually make it decentralized. And when we talked, we kind of agreed that, well, we are not the first to actually talk about it. And I think like back in 2020, a lot of people were trying to find ways to do that. And projects like IPFS came really as a result of that. But long story short, there is no easy way to do that now. And more of the practical ways to kind of do that, first is to release a software where that anyone can download and install. But that would mean that people cannot really lose that seamless way of just typing a website and they have to install something, right? So, and the second one is to use a mobile app. And when it comes to mobile, specifically Android, Android, because iOS doesn't let you. Well, with the exception of some minor some minor exceptions, they don't let you install apps from outside of App Store. Android, if you have an APK file, an install file, let's say app file, you can send it to anyone over your messenger, over the email, and people can install it. So it's like a common ways. Telegram, I think, used that strategy to distribute their apps in places where it was banned. Yeah, and there are like a number of places where I cannot be 100% sure about that right now because it's been a while, but at some point they were not accessible in China. And but at the same time, China is one of the biggest user bases they have. So how is that possible? Well, it's because people download and share APK file directly. So you can kind of access Telegram.
Would a phone have to be jailbroken in order for someone to use this file? So even
it just has to be Android. That's it.
It has to be Android because that's probably in the West. A lot of people buy their phones from the phone carrier and they're locked, and so they'll be able to do it too.
Yeah. It's a setting in the operating system where you kind of put a check mark that you kind of give permission to your operating system to install apps from external sources. Yeah.
We got let me just see here. According to Coke, that's what you do. Well, yeah, Denny, you jumped on this pretty quick. You'd use it, hey?
1000%. Yeah, I 1000%. Maybe this makes me I don't own Apple products. I did it a few times. I just
screw Apple.
I know. Yeah. I don't like but the thing is, my family had Apple products, and the whole battery thing. I don't know if it's still a thing, but they do an update and the battery would just die, and I was like, okay, like I don't have this problem, so I'm not doing Apple. I don't know. So yes, 100%, I would use it. I would use it today, 100%. The mobile is very, I have my desktop application. That's primarily how I do things. I use Voltisig, right? But if I had a phone redundancy, that would be so beautiful, right? And you could also, Mocha is going to have something like this, but imagine if you had if you had ability to go to a store and pay with them. I mean, there's so many things to unlock. I know we want to keep it real simple. My mind just kind of blows up with ideas, but 100%. It's nice to have just something on your phone where you just go boop, 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 boop. And you have Voltisig too, but that requires multiple devices, right? It's, but for a little spending cash, absolutely 100%. Give it to me, Ibek. I want it, Ibek. Make it, Ibek.
Well,
Well,
we
yeah,
when
Kenton
he
should tell us to make
I
it.
know. I know.
well, I mean, I'm on board. It's just first off, let me
Priorities.
bring something else up. When we're talking, Ibik and I were talking about it. I asked him like, well, what about an actual THORChain wallet? Like, could we, fork the Unsubbable wallet and slap the THORChain brand on it? And you said yes. You're like, yeah, we can totally do that. But if we do that, then now we have a wallet we have to maintain and update. And, so anytime a new chain is added to THORChain, we get to add that chain to the wallet. And so it's just another product, another thing we have to manage and maintain. And even though I'm pretty excited for developments on THORChain lately. Feels like there's a new fresh energy in the ecosystem, and everyone's kind of moving forward and working hard. We're still limited on resources, right? People and money. So like, I think THORChain building its own wallet right now is maybe a bit too big of a mouthful. Um, and to be honest, with Memoless, well, Memoless would be way easier. It'd be a much cleaner, lighter app, way easier to roll out. So we get out faster, be done, much less maintenance to keep it going. But it also would really, you know, nobody wants a new wallet. How many wallets do we all have, right? We're all getting oversaturated with all these different wallets we have. This would empower people to not have to download a new wallet, get a new seed phrase, all that stuff, right? They can use their existing wallets, and so we kind of force them to use Memoless and get used to it and understand it, and then hopefully it's an easier sell. That people are like, hey, this THORChain app, you don't need a new wallet. You just do this QR code thing and keep your existing wallet. It's super slick. Maybe that's how it helps it scale. So it could be win-win, that it's easy, quick to do, easy to maintain, and maybe it actually gets adopted better, quicker. So, well, Ibek, so if we did that, can you? And I forget if you told me, how long do you think it would actually take to build an app like this, to to get it out, to get it live?
Well,
If we, yeah.
if you're thinking just the Memoless, well, it's fast because we have pretty much everything there already. It's just a matter of forking and removing parts which are not necessarily. Well, maybe a week or two probably, just like a week to do it and a week to test it. On the other hand, if you're like introducing the idea of the actual wallet, well, then it becomes significantly harder. And I would agree with you. I wouldn't do it unless you have a really strong demand to do it from a community, because, well, then it's more work than STO for sure, because you have two platforms. And also, with STO, you have things like you have a bug, you fix it instantly, right? If it's an app, you have a bug, you need to tell everyone to re-download the app, to kind of to update. So it has its own issues. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah. So it's not about, I would say, time or cost. It's really about whether you want it, whether it's necessary. And if it's necessary, then yeah, definitely do it. But if it's not necessary, well, better to focus on the making STO perfect and getting more assets, basically.
I think it is necessary. I think it's just a question of where do we put it in the priority list? How do we prioritize it? Because like you said, decentralizing the front end, the interface, right?
Yeah.
And I'm, guys, like I'm an unbanked bleeding heart, and like for me, like what gets me excited about crypto is supporting those 6 billion people around the world who share cell phone credits as money. You know what I mean? Like, and these people don't necessarily have computers, but they have cell phones, they have smartphones. And so, if this is a way for them to interact with THORChain, like we got to do it. And then on top of it helps us decentralize the front end, right? So at minimum, if the website gets shut down for whatever reason, at least we got the mobile app going, right? And even if somebody downloads it, no one uses it, it's just part of the brand, right? It's just another way to stay in front of people, remind people we exist, we're there. So yeah, I'm kind of like, if it's cheap to do and not hard, may as well do it. And like, if nobody ends up using it, well, a couple weeks of work, wasn't that, it's not that big of a risk, or it's not that big of a waste. So, and I agree with you about, unless there's huge demand for a wallet, I think that's a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
Like there's reasons entire teams work just on a wallet, because it's a lot of work, right? So yeah, I don't think it's necessary at this stage. And that's because that's kind of been the promise of THORChain, is that you don't need a new wallet. You can use your existing wallet. The only really need would be is if wallets aren't supporting the actual RUNE token or TCY, but more of them are, and it's coming out. And if we can use your new library file, if we can use that to help wallets support RUNE, less need for us to develop our own wallet. So and that helps with decentralization. We have other wallets supporting us. So yeah, well, I mean, if somebody's listening, people listening, like, you guys got to do this now. I'm like, I want to iron out some bugs on STO. This is, Ibik and I have been going over here the last week or two now, where these guys are squashing out bugs. I'd rather get a lot of these bugs ironed out, and I still feel like we need a few more features done on the site. I don't know. We'll see. Every couple of weeks, Ibik and I review the priority list, see how it's going, what we're hearing from the community, any updates, changes being done to THORChain, and that shapes. We always readjust the priority. We're always kind of tweaking it. So so we'll see. But I think we got to make this happen. This mobile wallet for Memoless. I think we got to. It's going. I should say. I think it's going to happen. It's gonna be a matter of when now. When we actually.
So I got a question though. What do you call it? We're gonna call this mobile wallet.
Yeah, I was already thinking about that. So like, because we have STOs. Well, I think we just call it THORChain. Like,
yeah,
on the App Store.
Yeah.
But Thor wallet, THORChain. I don't know. Maybe
no, just
I'm not
THORChain.
thinking about.
No, just THORChain. Right? You just go to the App Store, you download THORChain. But I was thinking about the Thor name. We'll have to have a Thor name for it, right? So I was thinking MSTO, mobile swap THORChain.org, but that's a mouthful. We could do MTC, like mobile THORChain. MTC, maybe that has a bit of a ring to it. I'm thinking M something, mobile something. But I guess the community can maybe come up with it. Maybe we can crowdsource what Thor name we should use. But I think on the app, for the app itself, it's just called THORChain. Like, this is.
Yeah, it would be
THORChain.
less confusing for sure. I mean, yeah.
Makes sense for me.
We have a lot of products with Thor inside it right now, so it's a bit confusing. Even for me, although I've been around for a while. So
Coke mentioned here. Let me see. Put this on screen, you guys. What's going on? Coke says mobile THORChain wallet. Well, this isn't a wallet, right? This is an interface. This is a swap interface to do Memoless. So it's not a wallet. So I think we just call it THORChain. I don't think we shouldn't have any wallet reference in it at all. So if anything, maybe THORChain Memoless. But again, the Memoless, nobody knows what that means. Don't know what that is. No, it's just THORChain.
Yeah, THORChain.
Yeah.
THORChain.
I mean, that's what someone would enter when they search for an app, right? Inside the Play Market. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So then we could get it. It would get on the App Store, like that.
Play Market. Oh, well, no. Wait. Well, yeah, it would be there as well, right? So it's just in addition to that, you would have APK. Yeah, but it would.
Okay.
Yeah, because Play Market also like hosts that same APK, right? You just including it in addition to the Play Market in case Play Market tells you, well, like, look, a real example right now, we had a lot of issues with the swap over the years, swap feature. And sometimes they tell you, okay, since you're like working as a money exchange service, and they don't get the idea of the swap being like, well, not just the swap, not the fact, things like decentralized and so on, they don't really get, right? So the reviewer plane just rejects your app and tells you, okay, send me the license that you have permission to operate in all the regions where you want plan to distribute that app. So and you try to
I have an idea.
explain over and over and over.
Guys, I got to step away for a minute. Sorry. You keep talking without me.
No problem. It's okay. I have an idea, Ibec. So I think, well, here's the thing with this wallet is because one thing we are talking about is we're going to go to conferences, right? We have STO. You guys have built it out. It's running great, right? Wave of Magic. It's running great now, but you know what I mean? Like it's all the bugs are gone. I think it'd be really cool if we had like this APK, Android, interface that we could also share on like THORChain, like when we go to conferences, right? Like that's the thing is like with the Bitcoin conference coming up, we're not going to have a table booth thing because we do have something we can promote, but we want to make sure it's production ready. We want to make sure it's ready for consumers to take it and run with it. So I really like the idea that, we could, since we're cross chain, we literally can go to any conference that has a native asset on THORChain, and we have a product that we can offer that directly affects those consumers, right? So this whatever you call it, mobile app, or what I'm trying to say, I think there's a lot of potential here now that I think about it. And it's free. There's no excuse. There's no excuse not to use it, right? So
And it gives
we want
you,
maximum distribution. Go ahead.
yeah, and it gives you a way out in case someone blocks the domain, or someone sees this domain, you have yeah, everyone has a mobile phone right now. Well, most of the people have a mobile phone right now. So it takes a one tweet, maybe a few tweets, just to reach everyone who is familiar with the THORChain and tell them, okay, guys, yeah, you're not able to use the website, no problem. Use the mobile APK, right? So
You're right. Kenton, I don't know if you heard that conversation. You heard. Okay, cool. Perfect. Yes. So that's what gets me really excited because we just want maximum distribution of THORChain, right? To be the freedom tech, to get in as many hands as possible. And during those conferences, that's when you get people from all over the frickin' world that come to a place. And if we want to get to the people that, you're bleeding heart, Kenton, the unbanked, which my heart bleeds for them as well, that's a great entryway. I mean, if they take a program with them back to their home country, boom. You know what I mean? Like that's solid. Absolutely solid.
Well, and like I even know boomers who just use their phone. I have a client. He on Kraken. I'm trying to get him to move some Bitcoin, and I'm on the computer on Kraken, and he's on his phone trying to do it. I'm like, dude, what are you doing on your phone? He's like, well, He's like, I never go to Kraken on the computer. I only just use it on my phone. And this is a boomer. And so like I guess I'm more of a boomer. I'm just using my computer. When I log into stuff and do stuff, I rarely use my phone. But this is the future. This is the world, right? Like
Yes.
I think isn't it like over half or I think it's more than half the people use their phones over computers, right? So we definitely need a phone app,
yeah,
right?
phone apps are safer. Yeah, I mean, regardless how you put it, there are a lot more security precautions there than on the PC, right? So, well, it depends on the on individual case, but speaking broadly, in general, mobile operating systems are safer.
Yeah, and to your point, Danny, about is this how to cash out there? Should we read it out? On Reddit, people are constantly asking how to cash out their crypto without KYC, and there are tons of scams being recommended. I've been messed over by Celsius, Yield app, blah blah blah.
The demand is there. The demand is there.
Yeah.
Like this is a product that it's a solution. That's the most important product market fit are solutions, right? So
Well,
Yeah.
And I'm the real boomer, buddy. So I'm reading people don't know, we're reading the comments in the chat. But Denny, to your point about the conference and showing people, like that's something cool too. Like if you can have, like with Memoless, and just for people, Memoless is to be able to place a trade without connecting your wallet to a website. You just send your crypto to an address and the trade gets executed. And the way THORChain knows how to process your trade is because of the amount of crypto you're sending has like a message encoded into it. And so it's a pretty basic way of explaining it. But basically, Danny, what you're talking about at a conference to show people how it works, or well, it's anybody in real life, you could actually do a swap between two different phones and kind of show people how that works. And some people, they're going to get, their mind's going to go, what? How did this happen, right? So like if you could do that and show people how that works, that's gonna, that'll be intriguing. Like I actually, now that I think about it, I would do that. I'd go to these crypto meetups I go to, especially the Bitcoin one. A lot of backsies are there. I'll show them how it's done. And some of them I'm converting to THORChads, not like directly. It's just indirectly because I never promote THORChain and talk about it, but they'll ask me, and then I'll go into it. And and I don't promote it because they're maxis, right? There's no point. You're right. You're talking to a brick wall. Unless they ask you, then fine. Um, but if I can show them how to do this, like Bitcoin to Tether or something like that,
XMR.
XMR, whatever. Like I know some of these people are gonna be like, "Whoa, this is neat. This is cool. This is something." So,
Boys,
um,
check it out. We're at conferences. Maybe we just have some subsidized phones. They're not even our phones. We walk around with two devices. We hand one to there. This is how it's done. We can use real assets, whatever. It's all, we just swap back and forth and say, look, this is how it's done. And we just put it in their hands. We make them use it, and then they experience, and they're going to want it. They're going to want it. Right?
but I think that's what I was thinking is like you could have on our phone, $10 of ETH.
Right.
And you get like you go to someone, okay, tell me your Bitcoin address. And they open their phone, like I'll send the address. And then you do the Memoless transaction with their Bitcoin address, and then they receive $10 of Bitcoin. And they can show them on their phone. Here, I'm selling Ethereum, and and then however few minutes they see Bitcoin show up on their end.
Yes.
That's got to click with some people. That's got to that's got to register. So
that would be super powerful. And you're giving them something, right? I mean, because, it's a subsidy, whatever. And, say, hey, boom, come here. You want something? Here it is. You know what I mean? Look at this done. Like, holy crap.
So
yeah.
I brought this up on one of the other spaces about marketing and sales and promotion. This is a gimmick. A sales gimmick is when if you give someone a free pen, if you give someone a free newsletter, a free book, a free whatever, a free dinner, subconsciously that person feels indebted to you, and they want to clear the debt. They want to cancel it. They want to do something, give back to you to settle that debt. Well, the sales marketing trick that giving back is becoming a customer. Buy my product, right? And so if our conference is doing this and we're giving people $10, $25, whatever the number is, that's like us buying a new customer. And I've had Rayyyk help me go through some numbers. I keep meaning one of these days, guys, I'm going to get a report out to you, kind of like a game plan for marketing. And part of it is how to value each user on THORChain. And depending how you look at it, the average user on THORChain is worth about $50 to $100, depending on kind of how you look at it. So what that means is if we can get a new user for $25 or $40, like say at this conference, we give them $25 and now they become a user of THORChain, that's worth it because they're going to end up spending $50 to $100 and commissions on THORChain over the next year or 2 or 5 or whatever. So there's a method to that madness, right? It's not just blindly just giving money away and this is a charity and we're just no, like we can like we can, and this is real engineering in marketing. This is how it works. And when people figure out these, we can, if I can figure out this system, how much are we paying to get people and how much are they spending on THORChain, and we have a positive delta, like we're off to the races. We're winning. And
particularly at conferences, because these are not average people that go to conferences. These are, you know, a lot of whales. Are outweighted in the heavy sense. So that would be the perfect opportunity to do that too. It would even be skewed more in our favor.
And so if you look at STO, specifically STO, it's been for whales, right? The average trade size is 100 grand. And those, if you look at those users in STO, a whale user to us is worth like $250. And this is just in the last 6 months, right? So like if you're dealing with a genuine whale, give them $100, right? And it'd be worth it. You know, they come and start trading, you know, millions of dollars like on THORChain. We get that money back. And so you're absolutely right, Danny. Absolutely right. And yeah, there's no better way to do it. Just show somebody. I've always believed this is kind of THORChain's problem. We just got to show people how to do it. Like,
yes.
Most people see how easy it is. And they're like, okay,
so,
well, yeah.
I'm telling you, man, like when you go to these small conferences, and I'm going to get back to you in a second, Ibex. Sorry, it's just been me to go back and forth.
No
but
problem.
when you go to these small conferences, they're much more intimate. Like when I went to a Litecoin conference, it's so much smaller that the approachability to people is so much easier because you're the only ones there. So it's like, hey, how's it going? You know what I mean? When you're at a Bitcoin conference, it's just like, it's just insane. There's so many people. And so I just imagined, you know, you maybe building this, Ibex. And then that's where we just really nail it. We go to the conference like Litecoin, Doge, Bitcoin Cash, whatever it is, and we offer them the asset that they like. And then, right, because that's the beauty of THORChain. There are so many customer bases. We can give them. This is perfect marketability. There's so many different blockchains, and more are coming. I mean, Monero, everything, right? So it just wins.
I just thought of something, Denny. Part of the pitch can be, listen, if you download this THORChain app on your phone,
yeah.
I'll send you $25.
Boom.
And you can, right? And then you can do the trade. Just trying to think, because we want them to have it on their phone, right?
Yes.
I know they don't need to download the app in order to receive the $25, but it's just a way to like trick them right into doing it.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, yeah, but go ahead, Ibex. Yeah.
Well,
we're over here theory crafting, buddy.
I like your ideas about promoting it like in the niche conferences. Yeah, I think. I mean, what at least been kind of clear to me, because we have an overlapping audience, right? Other than the THORChain, our wallet is like has a Monero audience. Monero is like the second most popular item among our users, right? So the first one is being Bitcoin. So we are like a wallet for Bitcoiners. Well, I'm not sure what maxis are using. You know, it's really hard to kind of get them to talk to them and get them to switch to something. So, but what I've seen, well, there are few people who know about THORChain. I mean, we know about it because we are in that niche, in that community, right? We work with swaps. But, for example, like we've been writing about THORChain in Monero, like targeting our Monero users like for a while, you know? And those posts were not really getting engagement, not because they were like pitching a wrong idea, but because I think people were not really getting it. People were not, especially the Monero people who were like delisted from everywhere, and you could only get Monero through a centralized provider, right? So when you told them about like that there is a DEX coming in, they're not getting it. They're not getting even the concept of a DEX, and that's not because they are not able to get it, but they surely are. It's because they haven't seen one working before. Like if you've tried on the THORChain, you had this wow moment that on your first trades, right? You okay, I can like send Bitcoin and receive Ethereum, and there is no one to talk to. That's kind of cool when you feel that, but at some point you're getting used to that, and take it like as normal. But people who haven't experienced that, they don't get it. So I think we need to keep like reminding people, look, there is a THORChain.
I think the problem is the mic. We're getting the mic off your computer, not your headset. I don't think your earbuds are working for your
Check
mic.
the say.
But I'll keep while he figures that out. I just had another idea, Kenton. So you remember, like you said, give a whale $100, right? And that's totally worth it. What's the cool thing about like a conference like Bitcoin is that there's already tiers established, right? You have people with the thing, like you have the people who pay like the $500 ticket, me, right? I know. Then you have people who do like showcase, and then you have the whales. And so you could approach people as like, hey, you're what, you want $100? You know what I mean? Like, and that's cool because then they feel rewarded for the money that they've spent, but then also everyone gets something, right?
Well,
So
and then hopefully too, maybe they go talk about it. These guys just gave me $100,
yeah,
right? Like it's not a free pen, it's $100. So like then they go tell people about it, right? So, and I'm not saying you had to do it. We do this for 1,000 people, right? Maybe
right,
you
of
do it for
course,
5, right? 10
yeah,
or something like that. But well, maybe one day it is 1,000 people, right? This is the whole point of having a marketing budget and a fund to do it, right? Is this is how it works. So but that this would be my job, is just to constantly refine those numbers, see how it's working, what's working. But that is exactly what we got to do. What is one user worth the THORChain, and then be willing to spend up to that amount to get new users. And this is how like the big businesses in the world scale. Is once they figure out that formula, then they just press it, turn on the go button, and just keep going. Ivik, you might have to exit the studio and come back. Does it work?
you're muted,
Can't hear.
buddy. You're
No.
muted,
What we
or it's not
see is
working.
muted. It's not working. He's unmuted. We just can't hear you.
Yeah, poor guy.
Well, I kept hearing background noise. I don't know,
Yeah,
you
I
could
did
hear
too.
it too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Oh, for
I mean,
sure.
if
Like just a crashing sound in my left ear over
y-
here.
yeah, yeah.
It's like someone's in the
Um,
kitchen, like making music. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's sorry, it just dawned
Or
on me now. Just realized now that that's what it was.
yeah.
So, um, but when I interrupted him.
You
Oh,
talk.
he's talking about people in Monero not knowing about THORChain. So I was going to ask him. I will when he gets back too, but like I wonder what are like the main Monero channels, like Monero newsletters, Monero KOLs, the Monero YouTube channels, whatever. Do you guys know what those main Monero media outlets are? Hi, Vicky, there?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but I think there's still background.
Well, I'm
It
definitely on my AirPods right now, so yeah, let's
does
see.
sound better.
Okay.
This should be good.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
better.
this is
We'll
good.
just
Yeah.
roll with it.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Thanks, man. So what I wanted to ask you, Ibek, you're talking about the Monero community not being familiar with THORChain. What are like the main Monero outlets for like newsletters or YouTube channels or influencers or whatever that I can approach to say, hey, listen, Monero's on THORChain. We want to get the word out. How do we do this? Like, let's do some promotion. Do you have an idea? Any of those
Uh,
people or
yeah.
platforms?
Well, you asked me, I think, during our last call or one before that, to introduce you a couple of Monero people, and that I'm right now going through some options. Well, one of them is in jail right now, so we, yeah. The also community is quite divided, and they have like. Uh, well, one of the recent, I think, problems is that people, there is one centralized swap service, right? So some people are fighting about it. Some people saying that they like, well, yeah, a lot of, I think, unpleasant discussion in general about it. But yeah, I'll intro you. For us, I think the main venue for talking to our Monero fans is the Twitter itself. So
Cool. Then we
yeah,
got all the
and
recipe we need.
yeah, and I think THORChain is getting into that into Monero right now
I have
because
had I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I have
yeah,
so many
go ahead.
XMR people who follow me now. So many. Like it's been a
Yeah,
huge wave since the news has broken out that THORChain is getting close to adding native XMR. So I think the moment this happens, they're just gonna flow in. They really are.
yeah. I mean, just like see the amount of engagement. Let's say some of the JP's posts about the XMR integration get, and I think it's because THORChain community like picks it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's obviously the best marketing we can get, right? Is organic, right?
Yeah,
And um, so that's what I'm hoping. Well, it's been nice to see the Monero community waking up, and I've had a few. Well, you mentioned Monero One. There's another couple wallets interfaces that are like, yeah, they got an API key from me. They're gonna support have THORChain swaps from Monero supported like day one when we go live. They're ready. They're gone. They're engaged. So that's been exciting. So hopefully it's a really good indicator for like the Monero community in general. That like you said, Ibik, they may not be familiar with THORChain and the DEX, but they're definitely capable of understanding it. Like it'll click. It should click with
yeah,
them right away. Go ahead,
And
Denny.
we've already done that, Kenton, because with the recent events, right? What did THORChain demonstrate yet again? That we are neutral and permissionless infrastructure. We are decentralized, and that really resonates with the XMR people. A node operator I was talking with, he says, that's your in right there. Like when you demonstrate that same ethos, because this is what this whole when you have illicit funds, that's the litmus test. We saw, I don't want to say any names, like I bet kind of sort of hinted at it, of certain what was thought of decentralized XMR swap providers suddenly deciding not just to cancel everything, to pause everything, and they call themselves decentralized permissionless. That's not at all the ethos of XMR, but THORChain has the ethos of XMR. And I know some of them are grumpy. It's taken us a while to add XMR, but once you explain the facts, I'm like, hey guys, like this is really hard. Like we didn't have Memoless back in the day. Your memo field's really tiny, the obfuscation layer. But now that we got all this stuff, we are full blown LFG. Let's go. And that's been a really positive and effective messaging. And I only expect it to grow for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm wondering how to leverage it, right? How to amplify it. So if anyone else is saying, anyone else has ideas, let me know. I'm all ears. But I feel like that's going to be our best. Like that's the best way we can market and promote. Is that something that people are already excited about and already talking about? Then we amplify it, right? If to start marketing something from like a standstill where no one's talking about it, no one knows about it, is really hard to get that momentum to get people thinking and talking about it, right? Um,
I
maybe I was just
really
thinking, yeah,
I'm sorry. Well, I was
God,
gonna say, I really appreciate all the ignorant haters out there who have thankfully amplified the hell out of THORChain over the last few days by posting incorrect information, allowing a lot of the people from the community to correct them on what THORChain is and how it works. That has been the best amplification I could ever ask for. So sometimes the amplification comes from the people we least expect, but we love you for it, even if you don't love
well,
us.
and like, you know, I think it's Tay. She keeps saying like, that the THORChain community is celebrating these
Yeah.
hacks going through THORChain, and I don't see anyone doing that.
No.
I think she's misconstruing it in that like we're using this as an opportunity to promote THORChain, what it is. It's unfortunate that this is what it takes for people to understand. Like, it's just But there's just no other better way to explain permissionless and uncensorable. That when the worst people in the world can use it, that's how you prove it's uncensorable, permissionless, right? We don't want them to. Nobody wants it. None of us support this.
Absolutely.
So it's frustrating but again, she doesn't want to. People like her don't want to be told any different. They don't want to. Their mind's made up. It's just pure emotion, right? So,
yes.
But just take it. It's good, guys. Any publicity is good publicity.
Yes.
And they're promoting THORChain for us. And the perverse part is they're actually telling new thieves how to use THORChain. It's like if they really didn't want anyone to do it, they'd keep their mouth shut and stop amplifying it and stop giving THORChain a platform. So yeah,
thank you
just,
guys, appreciate it. And when you say things that there's an admin Mimir and that we're centralized, and then we correct you with facts that we're not. Thank you for that opportunity. I really appreciate that, because a lot of misconceptions have been cleaned up lately, I gotta say.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Free, permissionless, neutral infrastructure is the only way to emancipate children from the current fiat fiscal hell we are all living under. We've been living under for decades. That's the way it's got to be. Less than 2% of funds that go through THORChain are illicit. We help. The vast majority of people we service are good, normal, decent, wonderful human beings. That's what we do. Sucks when people drive the highway that are robbers or whatever. You know what I mean? But you don't destroy the highway, because that affects millions of people. Is what it is. So anyway, rant over and scene.
Well, we're coming up an hour and a half here. Rayyyk, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to go over? This is a chance for you to promote Unstoppable Wallet. We don't have to talk about THORChain. We can talk more about you guys.
Well, I've said pretty much everything I wanted to say. If you need a good wallet, a wallet that's that understands, well, it's not for everyone. Our wallet is not for everyone. If you don't care about privacy, if you don't care about ability to swap assets in permissionless manner, so then you are better off using any kind of wallet, even like keeping funds on the exchange. On the other hand, if you care about open source, if you care about privacy, if you care about sovereignty, as in like ability to live and do things the way you want them to, not necessarily like do illegal things, just like do the right things, but without having without having to ask anyone what you want to do with your money. So then you Unstoppable is the wallet of choice. And while we take engineering to higher standards, engineering wise, I would say in my opinion, we are the number one mobile wallet. Really, like if you, take pretty much any wallet and see how many of them are listed on Bitcoin.org. Bitcoin.org is like an OG resource run by people who understand tech, so they don't take listing wallets lightly. We are there, right? Although we are like one of the lesser known wallets. So engineering-wise, it's like a wallet. It has everything there. But more importantly, we work on the practical security. So that people who are not engineers, people who do not have means to comprehend like what's non-custody really, self-custody really means and so on like that, we want them just to be safe and confident while they're keeping their assets on the wallet, right? It's scary for many people, right? Especially now with the wrench attacks and all kinds of like sophisticated, not so sophisticated, but smart phishing attacks going on. So our wallet handles all of that under the hood and gives you means to stay secure in all possible cases. Yeah, like if someone, let's say, comes and tries to rob you, right? If you are using Unstoppable, you can have unlimited number of pins that you can enter to, and it would, based on the pin you enter, it would open the wallet you need, right? Like maybe you have like 15 wallets that you use on a regular basis, but like when you enter one of the pins that you have in your had for like emergency situations, it would just open 3 of your wallets and not expose your entire like net worth. Yeah, just expose 10% of it. So this is a practical security which we pioneered in the wallet space. And not, I mean, while other wallets will give you a thing like you enter a PIN into it and it will open a decoy wallet. Well, a decoy wallet is useless if you try to send a transaction, right? It will fail, right? So that's one. Secondly, for example, phishing attacks. They are not very sophisticated, but it kind of puzzles me while wallets are not trying to kind of protect users from them. So the way we do, we block those, and even if somehow person ends up copying a phishing address from somewhere and tries to send funds there to that address, thinking that it's his wallet deposit address on the exchange or somewhere else, right? So we would still kind of prevent him from doing that. Well, not really give him no means to send it. I mean, if he really wants to send to a wrong address, he'll still be able to, but we will tell him like several times, like, look, this is not the address you are thinking you are sending to. Yeah, it looks like the one you want to send to probably, but this is an address auto-generated by a scammer, basically. So things like that, or a lot of people get their crypto frozen because they, like, let's say, interacted with a scam DeFi app. So our wallet protects that under the hood. Well, the point I'm trying to make, we go far beyond what many wallets consider technical security. We focus on the practical security, where we try to understand the real cases, how people in crypto are being targeted. And there is like range attacks, phishing attacks, and we try to fix them. Just like we are, what I have said at the beginning of the call, just like we did for swaps. So everyone, well, many wallets provide swaps right now, but none of them will tell you the risk score. None of them will tell you, look, you have like 10% probability that this provider will block you, block your funds. So we pioneered that part as well. So in many ways, people who are serious about being sovereign and have to carry funds on them while moving from one place to another, Unstoppable is the best companion you can get right now.
I love it. There is a question for you in the audience. I'm just going to put it up on the screen. Can you connect Trezor to Unstoppable Wallet?
Yeah, no, not yet. Yeah, it's one of the things on the pipeline. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
What about Ledger then?
Yeah, same. Trezor, Ledger. Yeah.
I wanted to just give you a little layup here, because you said, Unstoppable Wallet is not for everybody. If you want to swap on a centralized exchange or whatever, then you could. But I would just like to remind people who may think that way that you definitely don't want to do that. We just had a recent story that came out because of KYC, someone, putting their information from a third party, and that got leaked. I believe now it's up to 4 or 5 different French people have been abducted. I think some have been killed because bad people were able to figure out who they are, what address they had, and the amount of funds. Kenton, were you trying to say something to add context?
I thought it was like 41 people.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Well,
in 2000, just this year alone, I think it's over 40.
Yeah, I think it was like every 2 days somebody's being kidnapped or something.
So this ties in very well to Unstoppable and THORChain, and why THORChain adding XMR is actually a very good thing and a useful technology. If you are an individual that has your information that has been leaked, and sometimes you don't even know, but if you've used a centralized exchange, you are technically in danger. If your funds are on that address and they can tie your identity to that. That is one of the reasons I'm so excited about XMR coming to THORChain, is it allows people to retain their own personal safety by obfuscating the amount of funds that are in their wallet, and so that they can protect themselves, and so that people no longer will pursue them. If you have an address that's tied to your name and people look it up and they say there's no balance in there, then you're okay. But if you've got a lot of your money in there, that makes you a target, right? So if you use centralized exchanges. Are you comfortable? You should be uncomfortable. You should want to be anonymous as much as possible. You should want to retain your privacy as much as possible, because KYC, as Kenton has said previously, means kill your customer. It is not a meme. It is not like some hollow, empty, vacuous slogan. It is quite real. That is why privacy is absolutely essential, you guys. So if your mindset is the way that Ibeck described, you should look into Unstoppable Wallet. You should make a transition. Not just because it's the right thing to do, but it may actually protect your life. So there you go. We got some here. My case, KYC got leaked by Ledger. Learned it the hard way. It's not only centralized exchanges. There you go, guys.
Yeah, and I'm serious, guys. I have a real life story. 2 nights ago, about around 10 p.m., buddy texts me, one of my best friends. He's like, somebody just called me, says my ledger's compromised, and you know, I don't know what's going on. You know, we need to chat. And so I immediately tell him, first off, never tell anyone your words. You know, it's a scam. Do not tell them your passphrase, and call me back. And so he calls me. He's like, yeah, they're asking me for my seed phrase. I'm like, 100% scam. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm positive. And he's like, well, they did a really good job. Like, they knew my name, they knew my ledger, and he's like, I'm pretty sure they knew. He's like, he doesn't know exactly how much Bitcoin he has on the address. But he's like, I think that's exactly what I have on that address. And he's like, you know, they were pretty convincing. And I'm like, well, dude, first off, thanks for calling me, because I've had 2 other clients, both lose 500 grand from not this kind of a scam, but other scams. And I'm like, thanks for asking me, because like, you know, he was starting to think, because he obviously he was out traveling for work. He's like, well, my seed phrase is at home. And so I was like, I can call a friend, I can call someone I trust to go to my, he's got a key to my house to go get it and whatever. And he's like, I don't have to like drive 12 hours back to get back to the house to go do this. He's freaking out. But they're using all this pressure and mind tricks on him, right, to try and trick him. And but you know, thankfully he's got a good friend he can lean on. And so but yeah, but this is real. This is happening. Like, and like, it's only going to get worse, you know, with AI and like, and being able to mimic people's voices. And so I told my friend, I'm like no matter what, even if it's me asking for it, never share your seed phrase, because like, now that my voice is public, how do they, you know, someone can get my voice, put in the AI, and call my friends like, hey, it's Kenton, we need to do something about your Bitcoin, right? Well, I know Kenton, I trust him, I'm going to listen to him, right? So and this would be targeting, like, my friend is young, well, actually, he's a bit of a boomer, but you think about real boomers, they're screwed. They can't, like, I mean, they're already screwed. Retirees have always been a target throughout history, right?
Yes.
But now, like, and it's not gonna just be retirees, there'll be young people too who are gonna get tricked into this stuff. And so it all comes back to KYC. This is only possible if we have to provide all this KYC, which is then stolen, that can now be used against us. And if we didn't have to provide all this stuff up front, these attacks they go away. They can't happen. So yeah, sorry guys, bit of a rant, but yeah, I had a real life example of it just the other day.
It's a thing, and we're trying to wake people up as much as we can. You know, KYC, that's not the way. That's antithetical to what we're doing here. It's dangerous. It's not good for, you know, not only for the theoretical reasons, but the quite literal ones as well, as Kenton has described. So absolutely. Ibeck, I want to give it to you, sir. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any context you want to add?
Nothing. Thank you for having me. We covered everything, I think.
Well, thank you very much for coming with us to talk with us, and thank you very much for your hard work on the STO interface. You know, Kenton hasn't even officially marketed yet, and it is often the leader when it comes to THORChain volume, and it seems to be a trend in the right direction. So I think that's a sign, you know, a testament to you and your team for making something that is competent and works well. And I'm really looking forward to when we really start to get marketing this thing. And this APK idea is really got my brain juices flowing, man. So I cannot wait to talk more about that later. So good job to you, man. Appreciate you.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to wrap it up.
Oh no, thanks. Yeah, thanks again, IBEC, and just stay on the call, please, when we're done, because the recording has to upload. But yeah, thanks again. It's been great. It's been always a pleasure working with you. I'm really happy the way the front end's going. Hope the community likes it. So it's just going to keep getting better. You know, like I said, we're ironing out some bugs right now. Guys, please keep. On STO, there's a new link there to report a bug. Should be super easy. Describe your problem. You can attach a screenshot, attach a video. So now it's much easier to submit a bug report. Please do. Especially if you do it once and then you try it a week later and it's still broken, let us know again. Like, you know, you're not going to bug us. Don't do it every day, but you know, every week, you know, or two, check back in, see if your bug has been fixed, and if not, let us know. Because a lot of this stuff we just fix and we don't follow up with people, right? It's just too hard to follow up with everyone. But you know, I'm pretty sure I see everything. I always forward it to IBEC. But yeah, if you guys have some recurring problem or issue that isn't being fixed, please let us know, because IBEC and I, this has happened between the two of us. IBEC will say something is fixed and it works on his end. I use it on my end and it's not fixed. So we got to go back and forth to figure out what the problem is. So we could very well think that some bugs are fine or fixed now, but maybe they're not on your end, on the user's end. So please let us know, guys. We can't fix what we don't know isn't broken. So yeah, so site's only going to get better and constantly improve. If you haven't used it in a while, check it out. Even in the last few weeks, I think there's been a lot of changes. So, yeah, thank you, IBEC, for you guys, your team, and working. It's been great.
Thank you, guys.
Yay, great pleasure. All right, guys. This is going to wrap up the end of the podcast. I hope you guys had a great time. I had a great time talking to IBEC. And IBEC, I got to say, I think I said this last time, I really think your hat is cool. So if we ever meet,
thanks.
I might have to steal that from you. Anyway,
All right.
guys, remember, guys, if you know anyone who has some technical skill or wants to be a node operator, it's so important that they reach out to @RuneTard. I also have someone else they can reach out to. There's been a huge amount of energy now pushing basically the catalyst of getting unique node operators on THORChain. THORChain is already properly decentralized. We can do better. We need to do better. People are waking up to the power of THORChain. So if you have some technical skill or know somebody, they believe in permissionless freedom, non-KYC, the neutral infrastructure, they must reach out. It is so important. They can be a part of history. Get them involved, please. Guys, also remember, for THORChain data insights, follow @RayAnalytics on X. He does these written recaps of our podcasts, and he started putting them on the website as well, which is so cool. It's going to help with search engine optimization. Shout out to Ray. He does a great job. And always remember, you guys, the views expressed are solely of those of the hosts and guests. Any action taken based on this information is at your own risk. Past performance is never indicative of future results. Next Saturday, we're going to be doing Bior Labs again, the Bior Vault, excuse me. I can't wait to talk to them. The following Saturday, we're going to have Joel from Dash. Shout out to Joel. He's really been out there fighting for us. We love that guy. So look forward to those guys. Other than that, I hope everyone has a great rest of your weekends. BTC Las Vegas is here. We're going to be doing that very soon. So if you are going, guys, I look forward to meeting you all. With that being said, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.